Boots Ennis stopped Xander Zayas in a Fight of the Year contender in round 6 by KO. Wow, that was an incredible fight. I mean, I was so glad I stayed up to watch it. I was tired. It was like 5:30 when the fight started, something like that, 4:30. And they were taking that time between the co-main and main, but whoa, that was worth it. Incredible fight, incredible back and forth action, heart shown by both fighters. Just that's what you want to see out of two undefeated prospects coming up fighting. That was incredible. Just hats off to both fighters. Now let me take a look at my notes here because I was making some notes watching it live. So Jordan Ennis, he gets the KO. It wasn't a clean knockdown, but because Zayas took a knee, but in the build up to the fight, in the build up to that knockout, Zayas was taking some heavy punishment, was taking some heavy damage. And starting round 1, I was talking about how Boots was jabbing early. I was writing about how Boots jabbed early. He was establishing that that wasn't like what I predicted in my video. Last time I said it would be Zayas going with a more of a jab heavy style, backing up, but Zayas met him in the middle, and Boots was landing the jab early. And Zayas was looking for the hook. Zayas was meeting the early aggression of Boots. Boots pretty much didn't take a step back that round, and he actually went forward. And in the middle of going forward, he gets caught with a backhand by a southpaw backhand by Boots, and that southpaw backhand causes him to get wobbled, and then a combination later gets dropped. Round 1, very fast. And I mean, he looked okay. It wasn't a concussive knockdown. It's just there was too many shots happening at the same time. After this, he gets up. He keeps fighting. There was a clear speed difference. I'll say that. Zayas was landing, and he was landing in the middle of combinations. They were both throwing long combos. Boots would favor the backhand, followed by the lead hook, or the lead hook followed by the backhand, and then throw some more hooks or uppercuts off of that. Zayas was working a bit more with straight shots. He was clipping Boots a few times with his backhand as Boots was leaning back. But Boots was doing his signature sort of slip with the no look, the one where he's like, like rolling with the shot, but it was nowhere near his face, and it just looked cool. Now, round 1 easily goes 10-8 to Boots. I mean, beautiful start for him. You can't really ask for more than that. He established the jab early, and he also got a knockdown and hurt Zayas. Now, round 2, Boots clearly had a sharper jab. He was landing early. He was switching southpaw orthodox. I think Zayas probably prepared for it. I didn't see much of a difference between southpaw orthodox and how Zayas was responding. So I think he probably prepared well for that switching, and both are throwing combos. And yeah, Zayas, he calmed down. It seemed like he was recovered from that earlier knockdown. And I gave that round to Boots, just throwing more. She showed good stuff. Like, he was moving forwards towards the end of the round. Now, round 3, this was quite a round. Boots started off looking to the body, and he was comfortable. He was looking for rear uppercuts with no real setup. Just throwing the uppercut, hoping it lands. Shows how confident he was. And Boots gets clipped multiple times in the middle of these combos, and as he's backing up, Zayas hits him, stuns him a couple times. Boots looking a bit, jelly-legged, snaps his head back. Zayas snaps Boots' head back, and yeah, Boots he got overconfident before he was rocked. He looked at his corner or someone in the crowd and said something like, "I got this," or he said something along those lines, which is a bit strange. Because immediately after he didn't got this, he was shaking around, he was getting hit, but then they just went in the middle and just started brawling. They just started trading, huge right hands from both men. Boots was clearly more hurt, felt like he wasn't respecting the power of the bigger man until that round, and then now at the end of the round, he was fine. He wasn't too He wasn't too wobbled. He didn't get knocked down or too, jelly legged. But it was a real wake up call because they were both scrapping in there, and Boots was getting the worst end of it. So that round I gave to Zayas. Not that the scoring matters. I mean, yeah, this is a knockout and a half. So right. So round four, Boots came out fast in round four. I think he was trying to prove that he was fine. He's throwing a lot of combos, and then Xander hits him hard, and then it's just an inside war. It just turns into an inside war. They both, head to head, hunched over, just throwing body hooks, uppercuts. I mean, yeah, Boots, just were just spamming the hooks. He was doing the long combos with just hooks. And Zayas, I was a bit stunned at his lack of head movement in the whole fight. He was sort of, with the straight shots he was doing okay, but the hooks, he just sort of letting them happen. Maybe he was a bit hurt from the early knockdown in round one. Maybe it was something else. Maybe he just hasn't got that good of a head movement in the inside. But it was quite shocking, especially with the speed difference. Boots was evading Zayas' hooks more than Zayas was evading Boots' hooks. Now, that being said, towards the end of the fight, so in round 3, 4, 5, and 6, Boots' defense noticeably deteriorated. It became more of a brawl, and that is like a very bad thing for an elite fighter to have is yeah. And by the middle of round 4, actually, Boots' jabs had basically stopped. I think neither man was jabbing. Maybe Zayas was landing and was throwing a few more, but by the end of round 4, I don't think Boots was throwing any jabs. It was either hooks, backhands, uppercuts from both men. Close and sometimes far away. Zayas attempted a leaping left hook a couple times. And yeah, I mean, yeah, wow. Close round 4. Now then, round 5, Xander started off trying to use his size to push. It was a good round. Pretty close. The usual, but then a huge uppercut knocks down Xander, and his eyes sort of roll back. He's on his back. He lands on his back, and he's just looking up. And yeah, it could have been over from there. But he sits up. He stares at the referee counting. Goes up at 7, reaches the count at 9. Continues, and the rest of the round he is just needs to hold on. He is getting, so he was just holding on, and some big body shots sort of crumpled him a little bit. He was hunched over, trying to cover both his head and body while he's sort of being pinged around the ring by Boots, just landing at will. The referee came close to stopping it a few times. I could tell Harvey Doc was looking, but Zayas was throwing in key moments when the ref was looking, so it was, he's keeping himself in the fight. And that was impressive because there were a couple of early stoppages in the card beforehand, Ben Whittaker, Vargas. You can argue those were early stoppages, so credit to Harvey Dog for not continuing that trend. So yeah, he survives the round, getting hurt with an uppercut which knocked him down. Big body shots, just vicious onslaught by Boots, and then it started to get worrying because he was taking a lot of punishment in that round. And then, in the next round, I believe he was told that he need that. I believe Harvey Doc said that he's looking to see if he might stop this fight, so he needs to show him that he's being competitive. And Xander, he started off quite weak. He was getting sort of bullied a bit. And actually, I'm mistaken. Round 6 is not the round with the KO. Round 7 was the round with the KO. I apologize. But yeah, round 6, Xander was sort of getting bullied. He was getting pushed around, punched around. Nothing too major. It seemed like Boots was taking the round off a bit. Just sort of target practice, just picking at him. Zayas, he's doing enough to keep himself in the fight, to keep Harvey Doc from stopping it prematurely, but nothing of note there from Zayas in that round. Boots were just playing with him in that round. And then round 7 was the round that ended it. Xander started off strong. He was trying to land confidently. He's trying to push him back, physically push him back, and also with footwork and push him back against the ropes. And then, both men throwing body hooks, both men throwing uppercuts, hooks, the usual. And then Boots lands uppercut off of the backhand hook, and then another combo which drops him, hits him actually while he was taking a knee, which I mean, it's been unfortunate, but yeah, Zayas was gonna, I think, stop the fight anyway. The knee. Sergio Mora, the commentator, I believe it was Sergio Mora anyway. He was talking about, wow, what a great choice by Zayas to take a knee. What a smart choice, just for the fight to end, which is kind of funny. So yeah, Zayas was looking at his corner. His corner thought, yeah, we need to stop it as well. So fight gets stopped. KO for Boots. Beautiful KO. Beautiful fight, amazing fight, back and forth action. Boots did kind of dominate most of it, but Zayas showed enough heart that you can't really fault him for that. And yeah, it was great from both men. Yeah, wow, wow. Boots, I mean, in the post-fight interview, it was good. He acknowledged that he got lazy and lackadaisical in round 3 and let his foot off the gas and ended up getting clipped by it a few times and hurt. But I think that round's going to be overstated a bit. It was a very competitive round, probably round of the year so far. And yeah, it wasn't what I predicted at all, to be honest with you. I predicted more of a Zayas trying to be less aggressive early on, and then Boots figuring it out later on and getting the knockdown. Instead, we got round 1 knockdown with Zayas and Boots both being aggressive. So yeah, no, I predicted the right result, but it doesn't mean much. Boots was the heavy favorite going into this. And Zayas was very classy in the interview. He acknowledged, Boots was the better fighter. He didn't really try to make any weight excuses or anything like that. He just said, yeah, it was a good fight. Hope you guys enjoyed. He was as good as I expected, a little bit better. He, he's a great champion, and credit to him. And I gotta say credit to both men. Now, what's next? People are saying the Virgil Ortiz fight, considering that was so close to being made before this one for Boots. And yeah, I mean, I can see that happening next. That'll be a good fight. I think Virgil Ortiz is probably happy with what he saw. Probably saw a lot of flaws and weaknesses in Boots' game that he can exploit. And I agree. I think Boots delivered on entertainment, but I think his opponents are going to be looking at this fight very, very, very closely and rewatching this one a few times to figure out what they can do to counter Boots' style. Which is a great style, Eddie Hearn said it himself, Boots can fight, slow and jab and pick away and outbox, but he chooses to be entertaining. So credit to him. Could do the Fundora fight. I think this makes the Fundora fight look so good. I think, my boy Fundora, I think he beat both of these guys, to be honest, but I'm a bit biased, obviously. I think Boots would struggle to reach Fundora. He'd have to use his explosiveness a lot in order to get to Fundora, to get the inside of Fundora, which he can do. But I think Fundora, I just see Fundora clipping him with an uppercut coming in and dropping him a few times. I don't know. That'll be a good fight either way. But yeah, incredible fight from both men. I'm excited to see what happens next in both their careers. Credit to Xander Zayas. Credit to Boots. And yeah, definitely need to look out for them. Fight of the year so far. We just need more of these undefeated boxers fighting against each other. Produce amazing fights like this. Because this is what happens when the undefeated fighters, coming up fight. They produce amazing fights like this. This is best fight of the year so far. Anyway, that's enough from me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, like, comment, sub. Bye-bye.